Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Ansar Gilani, English commentator at the entire sports, instructor at Intercultural Studies, Social Sciences, English Literature and International Relations. Basically, I am a trendsetter, and trendsetter job is to give a modern outlook to tradition, and when modern outlook is turning into obscenities, they are turned into moderation, so that the equilibrium of the society and the law enforcing and the modernity that is coming from the political circuit that could be formed and shaped and built balanced. So one of the students forwarded a question. Question is very fundamental one on the international relations and the international politics, what it is going on after all. The question was raised that what were the reasons of 9/11 that it occurred, and it entirely changed the whole international political gambit. And if we look into the affairs of the state and the country and the politics and the international politics, so the things are now being run on the international grounds, and internationally we are going to learn some new ways of the world, how the modern world is going to be managed, and how the present steps are to be taken, how things are being driven in the modern political concepts. So if we study the political scenario of the world that was present before 9/11, and at what level the world has reached after 9/11, particularly in the Asiatic point of view as well as in the international point of view. Before 9/11, the world was present at somewhat moral standards, and there was not as much obscenity and nudity and you can say nakedness and nudeness particularly, and somewhat you can say the ratio of becoming respectless and honorless, and to be more free-minded, and you can say divide of the spiritual and the moral values. We were not as much as after 9/11 we are facing the present scenario. To study 9/11, I will come later to this one. First I will travel and will look into the pages of history, and will study the international affairs. What were the contributing factors that brought Afghanistan into that state of mind, that state of society, that state of political international gambit, that they become victim of destruction and demolition and annihilation. It's around, I think, 1977, around period in Pakistan when Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was present in premiership, and political process was going higher and higher, and somewhat you can say unrestness was present in the society, that the moral fabric is under challenge, and cultural and conventional and religious and educational values are under challenge. Though at one end he was, you can say, making the Muslim Ummah aware of that what they had history and what they have present state of affairs and what they could be in future. But as well as international conspiracy theories are always working within Pakistan and on Pakistan and beyond Pakistan. And Pakistan existence has always been put under stress, pressure, and under challenge right from the beginning of its birth. So, you know, Pakistan right from the beginning up till now it is 2020 or 2019, Pakistan has always been facing the crisis of vision and crisis of leadership. When we talk about the founder of Pakistan, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he was considered to be a secular person, and he could not give devised line as to how the state of Pakistan is to be run after getting its birth, because he was not sure about his health and future of the movement that was going on in his period. His deteriorating health was a big phenomenal reason that was weakening day by day inside, and he was being eaten at inside, and he was at the verge of destruction at the physical level. But he had been going with supersonic and superhuman willpower that was carrying him to the mission, and the mission was to get the half population or the largest section of subcontinent separated in the name of Islam and in the name of two-nation theory. Many of the people raise a question at the integrity of Quaid's personality, that basically he was a secularist, and he studied in England, he studied law, and he returned to subcontinent. He started practicing law as a lawyer and joined politics and have been the champion of unity of Hindu-Muslim, and tried his level best to carry the mission and the flag of both India and Pakistan to be united against foreign influence, foreign rule of the Britain ones, because the way the international scenario was being changed, it was leaving impact on the subcontinent. And as I have already mentioned in another video, that that awareness level was coming at the massive level, and the English or the Britons were of the view that wherever in the part of the world we went, if ignorance and poverty was there, though we cannot end poverty, but we could end the ignorance, and we gave the awareness to the people. And when they become aware how to be the governors of the land, governors of the state, and how to run the country, and how to give good governance, and how to run the institutions of any country after getting independence, we were no more there, and we were to return to our base camp in England. This commitment or promising moves have been supporting the Britons on the honest ground that wherever the Britons went, they gave the awareness, and they heightened the strength of their minds. And when they become real human beings, well aware and strong enough to run the affairs of the state. They have been left behind, that they now could run the affairs of the state. So we have no more job to them. But as far as poverty is concerned, the treasures of the land and the resources of the land to some extent have been snatched away, and they have been put into poverty, and England become more and more richer. If we study the inside picture of England, right from 1250, 58, around when Magna Carta was passed in England, and rights of the kings, rights of the lords were starting shifted to House of Commons, and democracy was based. And England went through all the periods of its development through evolutionary process. There came no blood, you can say, acts, or there came no blood revolution in England. They traveled through the histories, and slowly and gradually they made their democratic process to get roots, and slowly and gradually they made their country stronger and stronger. And then they started extending their arms to the rest of the world to give them awareness, and then to exploit their resources and to make their country better and better and stronger. But the fundamental question arises here that why there came no blood revolution in England, and wherever England ruled for 100 years or 50 years or 300 years in any part of the world, those that were the part of the their colonialist designs, after being exit from the domination, there came the blood revolutions. I mean to say, there came no blood revolution in England from 13th century to the present, but wherever the English went, there came the blood revolutions. Why? Because they have been going there and giving them awareness, and they have been getting ransom or compensation of their resources, and they become more poorer and poorer. And later, when awareness comes, people stood against the anarchy, and a particular section of the country that started ruling their own population with their own designs. When a limited section of the society is made to rule on their population, they are given a sense of rulership, how to rule and how to govern others. In the same manner, they are also made how to be politician of business-like kind, not a visionary-like kind, or the person of somewhat that become business-minded, or how to run the affairs of the state, not on the vision or ideological grounds, rather on the business grounds and political grounds. And people, those who were selected cases left behind after exit of England from that country, they started ruling, and then the massive population was not meeting the resources, and they started revolting against. And in this way, the half part of the public was all times killed, and then rest of the population was given bread and butter and resources to run the affairs of the state. So once again, I was returning to the basic question wherefrom I took the start, that Qaid-e-Azam was considered to be the secularist one and liberal one, and but the fundamental ruling applies here that whosoever will be the founder, he will be the neutral person, because no movement uh, against the foreign alliance or the foreign occupation can be run up without being the neutral. Uh, mean we are the leader or the front man or the representative to the ideology and representing to the all sections of the society, particular to history and where ideology is being matching. But ideology or the vision in its application is not applied in a full manner. It is just kept in the mind and heart, that later when we will get a piece of land, or just when we will get a separate plot where the house of the country will be built, and its inhabitants or its family will be adjusted or accommodated there, then we will try to make a role of morality and role of constitution and role of law and order and role of you can say whatever we are to apply our designs of living and then managing. So Qaid was basically a neutral person when he was running the campaign of making the Muslims representation. Firstly and formerly, he has been trying over the years that it's better that Muslim and Hindus or all the subcontinents living beings to be at the one page, and they should go with one point agenda, unity, that they are to make way out of for Britons by force or by vote or by whatever the civility you can say gives them the right to drive them out of the land. He was not a secular person. He was not a liberal. He was a neutral person. Neutral person is that one that he has full conscious of his religion and its people, and has full value and respect for the values of Islam and values of the Muslims and the history and the culture and the tradition and whatever it is you can say helpful to give a name and image to any you can say group of the country or people or population, that should have the individual right to live independently with their independent resources and with their independent government and with their independent judiciary and defense and political institution, and then moral values to be based the way they are organized intellectually and physically, coming nearer to each other and helping each other, going for others. So one thing that he was facing at one end is deteriorating health. He was falling day by day, but he was not falling at the intellectual level. He was rightfully appearing to be a champion and the leader of the Muslim present in the subcontinent. But when Pakistan came into being, Pakistan was crafted and created on the image of Islam and what we have our roots in the history, and this was the only inspirational trigger that was bringing us forward and making us able to live independently and live with integrity and live with, you can say, a sense of solidarity and with the pride in Islamabad. Islam, rather, they are to they are to go for making of somewhat organized land into an organized state. So, as I mentioned, right from beginning up till now, we are facing the crisis of leadership and vision. So, after getting being independent, the debate took start that we should be the liberal one, secularist one, or the religious one. But the thing is that those who gave the blood for the independence all were having firm belief in Islam and its history. But the resources were not there because when Mughal resources for ideology and vision to be practiced, when Mughal were, you can say, occupying India, they have been here for around 700 to 800 and for plenty of years to rule here. They do rule in secularist way because the majority of the subcontinent people were multi-raced and multicultural and multi-regions and multi-directional, and diversity was there. And you can say England, when England came, they also tried to run the land of subcontinent on the same grounds, and they got the union with the Hindus, and Muslims have been left behind because they were snatched from their right to government. That's why they were pulled into poverty and ignorance, and injustice and exploitation become the fashion of the Britain, particularly for the Muslims, because they had a history and good governance. Though the Mughal empires, when fell on the political ground, there was a high level of obscenity and character problems there. That's why they fell. Anyhow, civilization can't last for 1,000 years or 15 years, 100 years. They are to, by one day or the other day, they are to be replaced because the lengthiest governments and the lengthiest rulings also create some inside problems, and you can say no civilization can all time produce towering personality at the politics and at the vision that they could keep running with the right kind of politics and right kind of governorship, and could keep the people at the justice and away of the injustice and exploitation. When the increasing ratio of the population comes, so at the multi-racial and multi-cultural, multi-religio and you can say ethnic groups where are ruling, whosoever is getting progress at population and increasing their community figures, they turn into mutiny, and there come somewhat rebellion shape, and rebel germs start germinating and start affecting and start, you can say, leaving deep-seated impression. And there are somewhat internal threats, somewhat external threats, and it becomes difficult how to stay strong for years and years and centuries. Though the Britain came and they took over, and Muslims have been put into darkness, and it becomes difficult for them how to live in a sanctified way. So when subcontinent was divided, Indians, you can say politicians and Indian bureaucrats and clerics and military men and the rest of all institutions, how they are to run and manage, largely being run by the Britons, and they have made alternative arrangements by the Hindus and by the majority of that era, and they become able how to run the affairs of the state. As far as Pakistan and its residents and the Muslims were concerned, they had a proud, you can say, understanding with Islam, but they had no resources. Firstly, they were to gear up the resources, and then they were to make the ways leveled for every citizen of the land to be a prosperous one, both at the vision and at the you can say material development. So political process could not be made. Military and civil government mean politics, political institutions and the defense institution has always been colliding, and the big, you can say, phenomenal clash came and gulf, you can say, cut that was made at the beginning of the country when Pakistan came into being, and General Gracie, who was the Joint Chief of the both India and Pakistan, denied the orders of you can say orders of Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and there was a captain in Britain's army's period, Captain Ayub, later who became Field Marshal, and under his you can say flag, Pakistan won the 1965 war. But General Ayub or the Captain Ayub of that time, at the earlier time when he was the part of the Britain or Indian army, Qaid-e-Azam once has pointed out and briefed the you can say the administration that Captain Ayub is creating trouble for and would keep reporting the Britons against the present people and the local ones, and particularly those who are the non-English soldiers or non-English people present in the army. He used to report, and he was a spy kind of person, a mukhbar kind of person. And Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah briefed about it, and you could rate him and rate his character later when he went against Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah's sister Fatima, how he made conspiracy to outshine her, to pull out of her political gambit. Though Fatima, who was the sister of Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, she was not to step into politics because the founders are highly respected, and there is no need of any, you can say, founders' characters to be the part of politics, because politics in India, Pakistan, people are not respected because our politics is not based on vision and ideology and somewhat respect. It is based on clash of the interests, and Western interests are all time there. And the same, you can say, Captain Ayub, who was informed by the Qaid-e-Azam designs, later on turned to be the somewhat anti-person for the political process not to get root in Pakistan. This is another aspect of history, but I was talking on how, you can say, Pakistan kept on moving, and the basic concept of separation or two nation theories spirit was that the Muslim state will be here, and all the, you can say, rulings, even Resolution 1949, and many of the others, you can say, rulings are present in Constitution and in the rules of the administration, that Islam will be the religion of the state and no law will be made other than the Sharia law or Islam, and such things have been set on order. But later on, as Pakistan was very poor at the resources, I mean, talent was there, capabilities was there, vision was there, but economic strength was not as much as to how we were to manage the affairs of state in an administrative way and intelligent way. Pakistan kept on lacking the strength of this one, as well as we had also, you can say, lacking capability. We had no such brains, political brains, that could go together and go-getter kind of policy would have been adopted, and would have given somewhat sense and sensibility that Pakistan is to be saved, and how Pakistan could be saved, that all the politicians are get together, make a get together, and they are to go with go-getter kind of approach, so that they could make Pakistan able to rise in the community of the nation, could get good roots in the subcontinent, and could claim and justify the claim the way they rose in the struggle against the Britons. Though when 1937 Indian Act came and they said that we are going to give the basic rights to the Indians. Why? Because they were to please them and they were to make them somewhat happy, because they have been facing the plights and sufferings for years and years and decades and decades. Then with planning they came and decided that Indian Act, after an Indian Act being imposed, applied in the subcontinent, basic rights are being given and you are being facilitated and you are being protected and you are being risen and you are going to make this and that. These were all just to give bait to the Indian Muslims and all the rest of the communities that were living there. The basic cause behind this all saying was that there is a world war coming that came in 1938 around up till 1945. That was Second World War, and they asked the subcontinent's you can say leading figures, took them into confidence and said that you people, mean subcontinent people,